This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Mosaic, a daily news program from Link TV, presents a selection of news reports from independent and state-controlled broadcasters from throughout the Middle East.
متوقع أعلن الأمين العام لحزب الله اللبناني السيد حسن نصرالله مساء.
As expected, Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah announced his acceptance of the Lebanese parliamentary election results with calmness. The March 14th alliance has won the election, meaning it will control the parliament for the next 4 years. Hezbollah, however, pointed out that the resistance has public support and that no one should worry about its future. He added that the future of the resistance will be determined through a national dialogue regardless of the election. The opposition leaders will meet soon to specify a common position pertaining to the new prime minister and the new government. Elian Shatri reports from Lebanon.
Today it is confirmed that the March 14th alliance will have the majority of the parliamentary seats for the next 4 years. The most notable reactions came from Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah. He announced on TV his acceptance of the election results with a democratic spirit, regardless of what he called the methods that were used against the opposition. Nasrallah acknowledged that the 14th alliance has won the majority of votes, but he said that he will wait to see what the priorities of the new parliament are.
What are their priorities? What logic will they have? In what kind of spirit will they deal with the public? Are they going to benefit from past experiences, especially during the past 4 years? Are they going to mix their priorities, or are they going to set their priorities right?
Nasrallah's calming speech and calls for dialogue generated positive reactions from the Parliament Speaker Nabi Berri and Parliament member Saad Al-Hariri. The first reaction to Nasrallah's speech came from the president of the Democratic Coalition, Walid Junblat, who said that Nasrallah's speech was positive and marked a good beginning. The question posed now, what is the reaction of the political observers to his peaceful speech?
The results of these elections will determine the coming period. This puts the country on the path towards stability. This is due to the American dialogue with Iran and the reconciliation between Saudi Arabia and Syria.
While waiting for additional reactions to the election results, political observers started analyzing the results, which will affect the local situation in Lebanon for a significant amount of time. Soon, it is expected that there will be debates about the election of the Parliament Speaker on June 20th, as well as the formation of a new government. Elian Shatri, Dubai Television, Beirut.
Presidential elections candidates' platforms focus on decreasing the gap between the rich and poor in Iran. They blame one another for the increase in this gap between the poor and rich in a country where 5 million people live under the poverty line. Others live in a very lavish lifestyle. Our reporter Molheim Raya visited one poor family in southern Tehran to give us an idea about the life of the underprivileged there.
البحث عن فقراء في جنوب طهران ليس بالأمر العسير.
It is not hard to find poor people in southern Tehran. Muhammad is one of the people who suffers from poverty. They just do not know how to change their current situation.
لكن من رحم المعاناة تخرج الفرحة.
Despite the conditions, Muhammad still finds happiness here and there. He lives in this cemetery, where most of the residents are single men. This was not built to be a home. Rather, it was built as a small graveyard. It is very easy to get in and out of the house because it does not even have a door. With a look of timidity on his face, he welcomed us to his home where his family was staying. His wife, Hawa, is ill and can barely take care of herself. This family is burdened with illness, poverty, and frustration.
I feel pain in my hand, back, and feet. Sometimes I can't even walk. I'm afraid that I will die and lose my daughter because of our poverty.
The young girl, Zahra, is the only daughter this family has. God has given her as a gift to Hawa in her old age. Zahra may be too young to know what the future holds for her, but she has experienced firsthand the bitterness of life. The poor here live in complete darkness.
My job in filling gas canisters does not pay enough to put food on the table.
Hawa is always haunted by worries, not because she is in her old age, but because she fears what poverty may do to her young daughter. Muhammad has to prepare food for his daughter and his wife after he comes back from work, assuming that he has food to begin with, which breaks his heart.
Some young Afghan men who live here bother me every time I go out to play. When this happens, I look down and run.
تتمنى زهراء ابنة ال9 سنوات أن تصبح ثرية. لكن الغنى بالنسبة لها.
The 9-year-old Zahra dreams of becoming rich one day. However, being rich for this family is only having a small home and a dinner on the table. They are afraid that their dream will not materialize until it is too late. All what they have today are small dreams. This is what keeps them motivated. However, they fear that one day they will lose their dreams for good. We move from the south to the north of Tehran. We are faced with brand new cars, fancy buildings, and lucrative restaurants. These areas, of course, are unknown to Muhammad and the poor like him. The gap between the rich and poor in Iran has widened. More than 5 million Iranians live under the poverty line, while others live extremely lavish lifestyles. A Sudanese government sentenced 12 Darfur rebels to death for participating in an attack on the Sudanese capital last year. This raises the total number of members of the Justice and Equality movement who have been sentenced to death to 103. Earlier, the Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir said that the arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court is part of a conspiracy to isolate his country. He added that Sudan is committed to achieving peace in the Darfur region. However, it is facing foreign intervention. To comment on this issue, joining us from London is Dr. Jibril Ibrahim, the Secretary of Foreign Affairs in the opposition Justice and Equality Party. Doctor, welcome. What's your response to the death sentence given to the 12 Sudanese?
We tell the regime that the people are tired of these pointless acts and that such measures do not help to achieve peace in Darfur and Sudan. It sends a clear message that the regime does not want peace. The regime is not serious or interested in peace. Rather, it is preoccupied with dismantling the parties and erasing the political will of the Sudanese people to achieve false legitimacy in a false new era. This will not happen, God willing. I think that people's view of the regime will change. Hundreds of thousands of people have died in Darfur. People are holding firm to their demands. Many armed martyrs have died. People are standing firm and will continue to be firm in their positions.
We are talking about the events that took place in Khartoum. You attempted a coup, but it failed. The Sudanese government is trying to maintain its security. At least This is what Khartoum is saying.
The Sudanese government killed hundreds of thousands of people. The Sudanese government can't say that it was forced to kill this person or that person. Everything has been fabricated. The courts are fabricated. The sentence was predetermined. The courts are being managed by the security agencies. It has no value to us, and we do not acknowledge it. We will not deal with it. The Sudanese government knows that it will not carry out the sentences because it knows what the cost of that will be. They don't have any extra lives that they can play with. Everything is a farce and pointless. It has no value. It sends a wrong message to those who are trying to achieve peace. This government does not want peace and therefore must look for other ways to achieve its goal.
Good evening. Topping the news, U.S. envoy George Mitchell began a new swing through the Middle East today by calling for a rapid resumption of peace talks and stressing Washington's commitment to Israel's security. Mitchell met with President Shimon Peres, Defense Minister Ehud Barak and Foreign Minister Avigdor Lieberman, and within the hour he'll sit down with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. IBA's Ali Wargalenter has been following the developments.
U.S. Special Middle East Envoy George Mitchell assured Israel today that Washington would remain its close ally, despite differences over West Bank settlements and peacemaking with the Palestinians. Mitchell told President Shimon Peres that his goal was to create conditions for prompt resumption and early conclusion of talks leading to the establishment of a Palestinian state.
The United States' commitment to the security of Israel remains unshakable. We are working hard to achieve the objective of comprehensive peace in the Middle East, to which you have referred, Mr. President, including a Palestinian state side by side in peace and security with the Jewish state of Israel.
Peres said the arrival of Mitchell at this point was an historic moment and an opportunity not to be missed.
I really think, without exaggeration, that you have arrived at a historic occasion. And none of us will ever forgive himself if he shall miss it. I don't know how long it will rest. I know how difficult it is, but I also know how important it means to the whole people and maybe to the entire world. We are taking it very seriously.
Earlier in the day, Mitchell met with Defense Minister Ehud Barak. It was their second discussion within a week, following last week's meeting in Washington. The two discussed a series of regional, political, and security issues, including the question of settlement construction and illegal outposts in the West Bank. Barak detailed Israel's security needs, as well as possible steps which could be taken to bolster the Palestinian economy and develop its infrastructure and legal system. Mitchell also met this afternoon with Foreign Minister Avigdor Lieberman. Last night, Mitchell emphatically denied he had said, as was reported Sunday in Ma'ariv, that, quote, the Israelis lied to us all these years, it's over. In another apparent indication of attempts to change the overall atmosphere between Israel and the U.S., Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke last night with U.S. President Barack Obama, the first time the two have talked since Netanyahu was in Washington last month.
In Morocco, 12% of women are participating in the municipal elections. Political female activists consider this an unprecedented victory. They also confirm that they are closer to winning seats in the administrations of local affairs than they are to achieving seats in the parliament or the government.
Gashmula bint Obi, a parliament member and political activist, is monitoring an election gathering of the Progressive and Socialist Party, which is allied with the ruling government in Morocco. Gashmula expresses pride over what her female political friends have achieved by raising the quota of seats designated for women to 12%.
We want more women represented so that we have a bigger presence in local associations and in the elections. The role of women, as you know, is essential and important, especially in getting things moving along at the local level and with associations, using a policy of being close to the citizens.
In the main platform, Jamil Musali sits next to the male leaders of the Justice and Development Party. She heads the women's list in the city of Salah near Rabat. The political activist believes that women have the capabilities to manage local affairs in Morocco. It is a view that other women political activists share.
The fact that 12% of candidates are women is important at this phase. Female participation in the local politics in this country is past due.
Because women are good at organizing household affairs, they can use these tools to organize local associations. Such associations are essentially women's affairs as they relate to the family, children, and the environment that women live in.
من مجموع أكثر من 27,000 مقعدا في الانتخابات البلدية للنساء المغربية.
Out of the 27,000 seats in municipal elections, Moroccan women have 12%. According to observers, women in Morocco are silently looking for a prominent political role in the political landscape at every election. The percentage of women participating in the Moroccan municipal elections now is the highest in the history of elections in the country. However, sectors of Morocco are demanding for an even higher number, and some even want total equality with men in the nomination process. Adel Al-Zouari, Al-Arabiya, Al-Rabat.
سلمت الفرقة الثانية من قوات الجيش العراقي اليوم من القوات الأمريكية في محافظة.
The U.S. forces handed over a key military base in the province of Nineveh to the 2nd Iraqi Army Division in accordance with the Articles of the Withdrawal Agreement.
أمنياً استشهد 5 مواطنين وأصيب 18 بجروح إثر انفجار.
On the ground, 5 Iraqi civilians were martyred and 18 others were wounded in a car bomb explosion in the area of Abu Shir in Baghdad. The Baghdad Command Center said in a statement that the explosion took place in the parking garage of the local transport agency. In addition, the explosion caused property damage to nearby parked vehicles.
The Iraqi Ministry of Interior has received complaints alleging human rights violations against Iraqi detainees held in prisons run by the Diwaniya Police Department.
In response, the Iraqi Ministry of Interior has appointed a fact-finding commission to investigate the allegations. The commission will document everything that goes behind bars, from mental abuse to torture. At the end of its investigation, the commission will file a report, which will demand accountability against those found negligent.
The human rights violations and the mental and physical abuse endured by some Iraqi detainees during questioning in the prisons of the Diwaniya Police Department were the focus of attention by the Human Rights Commission of the Provincial Council. The head of the Human Rights Commission cited some violations against the detainees, especially in the Tasfirat prison.
We at the Human Rights Commission have received many complaints of human rights violations in Iraqi prisons. Nearly 20 days ago, I visited one of the prisons where a number of abuse cases have been recorded. I submitted a report.
A number of abuse cases have been recorded in Diwaniya prisons. The cases will be reviewed by the legal and investigative divisions of the ministry.
I have been held without charge for nearly 8 months. I'm still being held without trial.
I had a small stand at the local marketplace. I was approached by the local officials from the municipality who asked me for my sales permit. I told them I don't have one, so they called the police, who came out and arrested me.
The Iraqi Minister of Interior has appointed a fact-finding committee to investigate the allegations of human rights violations inside Iraqi prisons. Meanwhile, the Director of Prisoners' Affairs in the Iraqi Ministry of the Interior, Ahmed Abu Rugaif, said that his department has recorded several cases of abuse. Abu Rugaif added that his department will deal with the issue in a way that will preserve the rights of all parties involved in the case.
A number of violations have been recorded by the Commission. The monitoring agencies in the Iraqi Ministry of Interior in the province of Diwaniya have taken the necessary legal measures to prevent the occurrence of new violations. After the committee completes its investigation, a detailed report will be submitted to His Highness, the Minister of Interior.
Meanwhile, the head of the command center in the Iraqi Ministry of the Interior, Abdul Karim Khalaf, denied the allegations of human rights violations in Iraqi prisons. Khalaf described the allegations as baseless rumors.
Some of the detainees alleging physical abuse were examined by specialists and before our brothers in the ministry. However, no signs of trauma or torture were found on their bodies. They are merely allegations, nothing more.
Finding factual evidence is the ultimate responsibility of the investigative committee, which was formed by the director of the Iraqi Ministry of the Interior. Meanwhile, a top delegate from the Ministry of the Interior visited the prisons of Diwaniyah, where they evaluated the conditions of the detainees and listened to their ordeal, especially during their questioning.
The difficulty of providing public services to the residents and the hampering of their attempts to reach their places of work are a daily occurrence in the city of Kadhimiya due to the growing number of concrete barriers.
The residents called on the appropriate authorities to employ the right mechanism that will help alleviate their suffering, which is continuing to grow, especially during the hot summer.
A scene repeats itself in front of you, Cairo, but you can't get used to it. It's a scene of long lines in front of government-backed bakeries. At these bakeries, the cost of bread is 10 times cheaper than in the other bakeries. But is it healthy to eat?
ساعات طويلة من الانتظار والتدافع لشراء الخبز.
Long hours of waiting to buy bread, which is the basic food commodity for Egyptians. But for the past 3 months, bread has been a complementary commodity in Egypt.
I've been waiting since 4 o'clock. My number is 61 and they're only at number 20. That means waiting for another 4 hours.
Nearly 6 hours of waiting in front of the bakery. Egypt has not witnessed a situation like this since the bread crisis in 1977. The baker refused to let us shoot video, so we continue to shoot video using a hidden camera.
Is this for the interest of the people, or is it just for creating scandal in front of television?
This is for the interests of the people.
Is this to air our dirty laundry to people abroad?
It's for the people because of the high cost of bread and the poor treatment of people.
What should I do? I distribute numbers. What more can I do?
منذ بداية هذه الأزمة توفي 12 شخصاً.
Since the start of the crisis, 12 people have been killed by stampeding crowds trying to buy bread. 2 months ago in Marala, this crisis turned into riots. It is a village of laborers who live 150 kilometers outside of Cairo. Although demonstrations are banned in this country, violent clashes erupted over the span of 2 days. Thousands of police responded to put an end to the clashes. The bread uprising resulted in the death of 2 people. 111 others were wounded. 200 people were arrested. These bakeries where Cairo residents are standing are being supported by the government. The lines are long, which indicates that they don't have enough money to buy bread from private bakeries. Due to the global rise in the price of wheat, the price of bread has increased. Here at this bakery, the cost of bread is 10 times less than other bakeries. The Egyptian government subsidizes 50% of this flour. This type of flour is bad, which reduces its value and thus decreases the cost of bread. Last year, this bread was used to feed animals.
This is the portion that we get every day. This is the subsidy from the government. 2 bags weighing 100 kilograms cost 16 Egyptian pounds. 1.5 tons of this makes 16,500 loaves of bread.
They've been baking the extra bread for 3 months at the beginning of the crisis. After there was a shortage of flour and an increase of deaths, the government increased the amount of subsidized flour. Officially, everything is going smoothly.
There was a crisis 2 or 3 months ago.
However, some people become quickly annoyed by the video equipment. The father of the baker refused to allow us to continue taping. It is impossible to record this state of hunger in Egypt.
I'm the owner of this bakery. That is enough. You want to sit and watch us in your countries. What are you recording? Are you recording the hungry kids here? The hunger of Egypt? Enough. Stop recording.
Among these waiting women is Nadia. It is the second bakery she's been to this morning. She must purchase loaves of bread. She has 5 children, and she must feed them.
If I can't find bread for 5 shillings, I have no option but to buy bread for 4 or 5 Egyptian pounds.
In the end, she was able to buy 30 loaves of bread to feed her family. This is the minimum number she needs. Every Egyptian eats about 4 to 5 loaves of bread per day. They are the largest consumers of bread in the world. In Egypt, they refer to bread using the word al-aish, Arabic for life.
Get more news about the Middle East online at linktv.org/Mosaic. The Mosaic webpage offers a complete archive of Mosaic programs, program transcripts, the Mosaic video podcast, and the Mosaic Intelligence Report, a weekly analysis of the hottest stories from the Middle East. The views expressed on Mosaic are those of the participating broadcasters, not Link TV or its sponsors. The production of Mosaic is made possible with the support of viewers like you. Thank you.
This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries, and diverse cultural programs which connect you to the world.